How are you?
Well, how do you-
I wasn't trying to be too hard. I'll be home. It's hot in here because I left the door open.
How you doing, Jim?
Good.
You ready? Right, it's 5:30, we'll call the meeting to order. We could get a roll call, please.
Mayor Barker,
Present.
Vice Mayor Reese,
Present.
Alderman Martin,
Yes.
Alderman Tanner.
Yes.
And Alderman Thomas.
Yes.
All right, first item on the agenda are minutes from the April 21st, 2025 meeting. Do I have a motion to consider?
I'll make a motion to consider.
I'll second.
Motion by Donna, second by Jake. Any discussion? Roll call?
Mayor Barker,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Reese,
Yes.
Alderman Martin,
Yes.
Alderman Tanner.
Yes.
Alderman Thomas.
Yes.
All right. Next on the agenda, we have meetings from the April 28, 2025 special meeting. Do I have a motion to consider?
Make a motion to consider.
I'll second.
Motion by Jake, second by Donna. Any discussion on the minutes? Roll call?
Mayor Barker,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Reese,
Yes.
Alderman Martin,
Yes.
Alderman Tanner.
Yes.
And Alderman Thomas.
Yes.
Very good. Next, we have financials from April 15 to May 14, 2025. Do I have a motion to consider?
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Tamara, second by Jake. Any discussion on financials presented?
Glad to see a food truck running on one.
Yes. That's all of them.
If none,
Mayor Barker,
yes.
Vice Mayor Reese,
Yes.
Alderman Martin,
Yes.
Alderman Tanner.
Yes.
And Alderman Thomas.
Yes.
Very good. Passes. So next we have public comments. We'll limit those to 3 minutes. If you would, stand up, state your name and your residency. Mr.
Charles
Burnett.
Burnett, 131 Second Street.
You don't have to give your address, just the city.
Okay.
That's fine, thank you.
But I got up there on Second Street, as you come up Second Street, the grass is growing. Kylie Brooks, he'll get out there and ride the lawnmower, but he won't take a weed eater in that corner there, come around. The grass, I'd say it's over 3 feet high. And the cars are coming up through there and the cars coming down. They park, there's 3 cars that parks on the left-hand side right there at that second house. And just a one-way street there. And this gentleman got run over the other day. One's coming there. The grass is so high. The grass is on city right away. It's not on his land, but every homeowner up there usually cuts off, weeds eats it and everything else. But I don't know where Kylie cannot weed eat or something. His brother used to do it and everything. And I thought I'd mention that if we could get that looked after. And then when we're gonna get some coal patch in these holes in the road.
Anything else?
No, the only thing I've got to, where Colonial empties out in 68 highway there, that big hole right there, that ought to be the counties or the states, because their right of way goes over foot, right there where that manhole is, where they pull that cable in there for phones and stuff the other day, and they made it bigger. But I'm just wondering, that's not the cities, I think that's the counties or the states, because right of way goes on over a little bit, I think, right there. I thought I mentioned that. Other than that, that's all.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Being none, we will move along to reports. And first up is going to be the mayor's report, if I can find my report. Try to make it brief since we have such a long agenda tonight. First up, we have the cleanup Copperhill. We want to thank everybody for their help. Mr. Burnett, I think you participated in that. Kathy Hale, so many other people. I don't want to mention everybody by name, but I really appreciate that. I think it was a success. I asked them to keep up with the number of hauls of brush, but they lost count, so I'm not going to say how many we took, but there's quite a few. Brush hauling now goes back to, it costs the city to have that hauled off, so we'll make sure that, you know, if you need to take brush away, make certain that you call the city first. We'll come out, assess the price, and let you know how much it would be. So we'll try to maybe do another cleanup before the year's out, potentially if we can. But, our city guys did a lot of work. They spent a lot of time on that, and so I know they appreciated everybody's trying to get things cleaned up, and still more trash to pick up along the way, but I think we made a really nice dent. So also we had a couple of groups I will mention, Discover Copper Basin and United Way. They came out on that Friday and helped out. We also had some political folks that came and helped us, so really appreciated that. Actually had a state senator come, so appreciated Senator Hatcher coming out. So that being said on that one, I'll move along to scholarship. We gave $1,000 to Copper Basin Scholarship Fund this year. Broke it out. We did not have any Copperhill residents, so we chose Nicola Krillman, who's going to be going to Cleveland State, as well as Josie Adams, who's going to be going to Tennessee Wesleyan. So they were very pleased, very thankful to the city for that. As you well know, we've had the road paving done on Tennessee Avenue. Striping is forthcoming. I don't know the exact date on that, but we're very appreciative of Fannin County for their partnership, working with us here and all of our concerns, and their folks are as thrilled as Copperhill residents, and I couldn't be more thrilled and just really, really thankful for them.
Very good.
So, you know, and as Mr. Burnett mentioned, Colonial Avenue has a lot of challenges with it. That particular spot he's speaking of, we're supposed to be getting it fixed if it was not already fixed. I'll have to check on that piece of it. And we are trying to fix as many holes as we can right now. So, well, if anybody has a specific spot, call City Hall, let us know where that spot is. The same with the grass mowing. That if there are issues like that, we need to know. Don't wait till city council meeting or board of alderman meeting. Give us a buzz. We'll try to get somebody out and look at it. And I'll get with you, Mr. Burnett, or have them.
Okay.
This is not a time. Your time is over. We can't,
Okay.
We got to keep our order. But thank you. So moving along tonight, we have the budget on the agenda, so we'll be discussing that more in depth. We also have some fee increases that I'm not happy with, but these are recommended by the state, have been recommended by the state, so we'll address those in a bit. Lastly, we have Farmers Market coming up on Saturday. We're excited about that. We're working with City of McKaysville, and I'm sure there's going to be some kinks this week in it, and we'll see how it works. We're trying to be as organized as possible, but I'm sure we'll make mistakes and we'll learn from it. Go from there. So that being said, that's the end of my report. Try to be as brief as possible, and I'll start with the board updates and start with you.
Really still working on the 4th of July event stuff, and just be more information forthcoming. Everything seems to be coming together nicely.
Very good. Anything else?
Mhm.
Thank you. Alderman Tanner? You do have something. The sign.
Oh,
Yes.
I forgot the
bridge
sign. I
Yeah,
forgot the sign.
yeah.
So, when they went over and redone the bridge, when the case where we did the bridge and everything, somehow or another, when the sign was taken down that says "Welcome to McCaysville" in Copperhill, Tennessee, somehow it ended up in the river. So, my husband and another guy had finally got it out of the river, which was not an easy task. And so it's, because several different people have tried to get it out of the river, but it had concrete was holding it down. But anyway, we were able to get it out and it can be refurbished. And so hopefully we'll be getting the backing done on it and be able to get it put back up.
Excellent.
Thank you very
All right,
much for that,
thank you.
because
You're welcome.
I might have been one of the people trying to get it out of the river in a lightning storm. All right.
Is this something, this time right now, I mean, is this something we can talk about anything?
This is correct. This is your period to report on what you've been working on, or a concern you have, or something that someone's brought to you. Yes.
Building permits.
Yes, sir.
Here's what I want to bring up to y'all, and this is what I've been running into. On these building permits, as far as having a planning commission meeting, if somebody is meeting our codes or our zoning, and they're building a house and they send it to me and I'm looking at it, they're meeting everything they need to meet. This is simple, the setbacks are good, the height's good, and everything like that. Do we need to have a planning commission meeting to go approve that? Or can I just say, shoot y'all an email, let y'all have the PDFs of everything I've seen, anybody on the planning commission, and say, this is it, y'all have a problem, before I tell him he can go to City Hall, pick up the permit, or do y'all want to keep it, or you have a, I'm just thinking, if it's legal, and I'll make an example, I've got one on 2nd Street right now. It's about as simple as it gets. The person's been in contact with me the whole time, I've been in contact with Josh Holder to make sure everything's right, the building inspector. And this guy, once I get the permit, he's gonna get in touch with Josh, and the builder's gonna get in touch with Josh. But it's about as simple as it gets, and I mean, what do y'all think? Should we have a planning commission meeting if it's within the zoning and they're meeting everything?
It's not what we think.
I got
It's what's dictated in our ordinances. So
Okay.
I need to dig there. The only issue we would have if you're consulting our sunshine laws.
I guess.
So if we're saying yay or nay, you've got to do that in an open forum.
Okay.
So that, but does, the huge, and this is where I don't know. The
Right.
answer is, I'll have to dig, is does our ordinance allow for a department to just issue a permit without consult to the entire board? And let me dig there and see what that
Because
says.
when I'm thinking planning commission having meeting, some of this stuff, I'm thinking, if they need a variance, yes, you need to have a planning commission meeting. If you're doing subdivision, that's when you need to start bringing everybody in, so I don't want to put mine in. But that's up, that's what I brought it to the board for. I'm just giving two different views on it, yay or nay.
Perfect. Let me dig, and I'll send you what I find. Let you.
Yeah, okay.
And the other, in a larger city or county, you would have a department. That department head would sign off on those
Exactly.
typically.
It's like that in
And-
county over here.
Right, and then if there are issues, it would come to the board. So that's where I don't know what Copperhill says. It's everybody,
Because we don't have that thing, I'm sort of in the place of that person right now, but I'm not an employee.
correct?
So that's the thing about it. And we got the gentleman ready to go. He's got everything. And so if not, we'll just have to have a planning commission meeting
Okay,
or, special call, whatever,
sure.
to get him going. He needs to order his building. It's gonna be a barndominium,
All right.
and so he'll have to order it. If not, that's whatever. We'll just,
Let
if we
me
need to pull a meeting together, that's fine.
let me dig into that ASAP and see if I can find you that answer. If not, we'll try to get a meeting within next week. I know
When's
we
the
got
QR
one.
meeting? Is that
We have not
We don't
set,
have it set
we have
yet.
not set that yet, but it would be a good idea to have it right after that, at 6:30.
Yeah, two birds, one stone.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever you gotta do, but y'all think about it.
That's perfect, yeah, that's a great question. And, you know, and like I said, in some of these items that we're reconsidering, this might be something for us to address and
Right.
and change in some of those ordinances. All right, very good. Anything else?
No, everything, that's been running good. People's been calling City Hall and talking to me about getting the permits and stuff. It's been wonderful now. That I can see since a year and a half ago when we took over, it's been great. They're asking questions about doing first,
Very good.
so it's been good.
Good, good.
Nothing else? Jake?
A couple things. Steve Cross, the MTAS consultant on fire, we had a meeting set up with him. He had a death in the family. We'll be trying to reschedule that in the near future. We also reached out to John Eskew. We're going to talk about city judge later in the hunt for an attorney. So we've reached out to some of the attorneys associations in the state of Tennessee. And then I just wanted to give a couple of quick shout outs, congratulations. I've had several people compliment to me about how helpful Teresa and Shannon have been regarding the farmers market, so thank you for that. And then they included you as well. And then the guys got the ballpark mowed, looks great over there. And part of the pickup, town's looking really good after that. And then I also wanted to say thank you to Tina Rice, the president of the Blue Ridge Farmers Market, for some consultation that she gave regarding our farmers market down here as well. She gave some really great insights, so really appreciated her time. That's it.
Very good. Thank you, Jake. If nothing more, we will move into old business and have an ordinance on old business related to the farmer's market. If I could, is there a motion to consider this ordinance?
Make a motion.
A second. A motion is by Timberland, a second is by Jake. We'll move into a period of discussion, and I will start off. Basically, when we met last time, we ran a resolution through for this $25 fee. The fee was intended just basically for setup. It would help us offset some costs with marketing, administratively, just all the things that goes along with doing some of this. It's not a tax. In that resolution, I noted that there was the $50 transient vendor tax. I should not have done that. So basically in this, I found any fee that we're charging here needs to be ran through as an ordinance. So to fix that, I'm going to run this $25 fee through as an ordinance, and we will have 2 readings on this. So that's why you see this in old business. And like I said, we're learning as we go along. In the past, these have been done as resolutions. So I found past fees in our binder that were resolutions, but we'll start doing these by ordinance going forward. And the state is currently reviewing what we have ordinance-wise, making certain everything is within check. Tennessee code, some things have been updated since there have been ordinances passed with the city. And once we get that, we'll codify those ordinances, and then we can move forward with what we need to change and whatnot. So, any discussion on this? No questions? All right. So I will. You guys have got a lot of ordinances to listen and read to tonight. If anybody wants to read one, you just let me know. But City of Copperhill Ordinance number 519-25-00. This is an ordinance of the City of Copperhill, Tennessee, repealing resolution number 4825-01, establishing a $25 space rental fee for vendors participating in the Twin Cities Farmers Market, clarifying the purpose of the fee, and affirming vendor responsibility under applicable laws. Whereas on 28th day of April 2025, the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the City of Copperhill adopted resolution number 428-25-05-01, which established a $25 vendor permit fee for the 2025 season of the Twin Cities Farmers Market, operated in coordination with the City of McCaysville, Georgia. And whereas the Board has determined that the prior resolution was not adopted in accordance with applicable provisions of the Copperhill Municipal Code, and therefore must be repealed and replaced with a properly enacted ordinance, and whereas the City Whereas the city desires to clarify that the $25 fee is a rental fee for the use of space in the market and not a tax or business license. And whereas the city further finds it necessary to affirm the legal responsibilities of the vendors, including compliance with the tax laws and applicable state regulations. Now therefore be ordained by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the City of Copperhill, Tennessee as follows. Section 1, Resolution number 4-28-25-01 is hereby repealed in its entirety, having been adopted outside the proper authority granted by the Copperhill Municipal Code. Section 2, a rental fee in the amount of $25 shall be assessed for each vendor space used during the Twin Cities Farmers Market season. This fee shall be collected by the City of Copperhill to offset administrative, promotional, and operational costs associated with the market. This rental fee shall not be construed as a tax, business license, or regulatory fee. Section 3, each participating vendor is individually responsible for complying with applicable federal, state, and local laws. This includes, but is not limited to, registering with and remitting appropriate taxes to the Tennessee Department of Revenue, following the rules and guidelines established by the Tennessee Department of Agriculture for sale of food, produce, or other regulated goods, obtaining any required licenses, certifications, or inspections applicable to their goods or services. The City of Copperhill assumes no responsibility for the legal compliance of individual vendors. Section 4, this ordinance shall become effective upon whatever date we pass upon final passage in public welfare requirement. All right. If nothing further, we'll move vote. Roll call.
Mayor Barker,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Reese,
Yes.
Alderman Martin,
Yes.
Alderman Tanner,
Yes.
Alderman Thompson.
Yes.
And it passes its first reading. We'll have it on the agenda for our next meeting. That concludes old business, and we will move into new business. And this is our budget amendment bill for 24-25. Do I have a motion to consider this bill?
Make a motion we consider.
Second.
Motion is by Jake, second by Tamara. All right, so do we have, I guess, any discussion on this, or do you want me to read it first and then I'll go ahead and read it for you. How's that sound?
Yeah.
City of Copperhill ordinance number 5-19-25-01. This is an ordinance to amend the budget for the City of Copperhill, Tennessee for fiscal year 2024 and 2025. Whereas the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the City of Copperhill, Tennessee adopted the annual operating budget for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2024 and ending June 30, 2025. And whereas certain adjustments to the budget are necessary to account for unforeseen increases in general expenditures and to comply with state requirements for financial reporting within the Public Works Department. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the City of Copperhill, Tennessee, Section 1 is to amend the general fund for expenditures are to be changed as follows. So we are moving dollars, I'll just go down the list. You got $14,000 from wages, an increase there. Payroll taxes $1,075, accounting services $3,000, ads and legal notices $400, dues and subscriptions $300, employee training $4,000, office supplies $5,500, general insurance $15,000, tax billing and processing is $379, telephone $2,400, bank services $200, legal and professional fees are $300, building inspection fees are $2,000. From that, we're decreasing from the public works section. Highways and streets is being decreased by $16,743 to balance that out. We also have $175 in uniforms that's being decreased, an increase of $2,000 in supplies. Wages, $16,000 is $743 increase. Uniforms, $175 increase to this line. $400 is moved over for supplies, $1,800 for fuel. And that balances out $69,672 on each line. And we moved $50,954 from the fund balance. This is, we continue. On Section 2, the purpose of this amendment is to provide funding due to unforeseen increased costs for general expenditures in the general fund and to show the cost for highway, streets, and sanitation and public works department separate per se. All right. Any discussion on this? If you have questions, what we're hearing. Basically, 2024, 25, they passed the budget. This is typically, from the county commission side, I'm used to moving money all year long because you have several different departments. With this one, you wait till a year in and move money. This is something that's done each year to make certain that the books balance before year end. So there's nothing unusual, nothing out of the ordinary with these numbers. So, any discussion, questions? All right. Being none, do we have roll call, please?
Mayor Barker,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bruce,
Yes.
Alderman Martin,
Yes.
Alderman Tanner,
Yes.
Alderman Thomas.
Yes.
And it passes first reading. We will continue at our next meeting on that one. Next one on the agenda is an ordinance sewer rate increase, first reading. I'll go ahead and read the ordinance and then we can, I guess, do we have a motion to consider first before I read this?
Make a motion to consider.
I'll second.
Motion by Donna, second by Jake. I'll read the ordinance. This is ordinance number 5-19-25-02. This is an ordinance to amend the ordinance number 0819-24 and set new utility rates for sewer service for the city of Copperhill. Whereas the city of Copperhill operates and maintains a public water and sewer system to serve its residents and businesses, and whereas it is essential for the city to establish utility rates that ensure the continued financial health and operation of the sewer utility system as required by, and whereas the audit of 2023-24 fiscal year revealed that the water and sewer department is operating at a continued financial deficit, requiring corrective action to restore fiscal sustainability, and whereas pursuant to Tennessee Code annotated 7-34-115A, municipalities operating utility systems are required to charge sufficient rates and fees for services rendered by such system, so as to provide revenue adequate to pay all operating expenses and to pay the interest on and retire all bonds and other obligations of the system. And whereas the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the City of Copperhill finds it necessary to revise sewer rates to ensure the utility system operates in compliance with state law and financial best practices. Now therefore be it ordained by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the City of Copperhill, Tennessee, under Section 1, this ordinance hereby repeals and replaces ordinance number 081924 in its entirety. All prior ordinances, resolutions, or rate schedules in conflict with this ordinance are likewise repealed. Section 2, effective the first day of July 2025, sewer service fees for the city of Copperhill shall be calculated as follows. Residential sewer rate is increased to 100% of the monthly water usage. Commercial commercial sewer rate 115% of monthly water usage. All percentages are based on the volume of water used and measured by the city's water metering system. And that will be the end of that. Reading will pass if we so desire. Any discussion on this one?
I hate we have to do it, but I mean, we gotta start paying this off. I mean, we've gotta start making headway.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Absolutely.
ultimately, at the end of the day, that's the unfortunate piece of this. And I worry, there's been discussion about this previously, about the state moving in if we don't do something at some point.
Yep.
And I'd rather keep it under our control.
Absolutely. I agree.
Right now, the residential rate is 90%, commercial is 100%. Last year, what we're repealing is what they passed on their increase. it was a start. State wants us to continue with this. We really have no choice, in my opinion. I don't want to pay more money. I know,
No,
folks
not
here
this
do,
way.
but at the end of the day, I'll just say, we're paying for what our predecessors wouldn't do. And I'm talking years ago. These rates in the city were not being charged what they should have been charged historically for decades now. And now somebody's got to pay that. And it's up to us to make that decision. And I don't want to make that decision. But this is where we are. And if we don't do this, then we're going down a pathway that is not sustainable. Everybody knows that. The state has been telling us that for a number of years. And we have to incrementally do these increases. And unfortunately, even with the increase that was last year, we still have a shortfall. So that's where we are. I'm going to read real quick what we still have debt-wise and when the debt started. So in 1994, there was $220,000 of debt that was put on the books. That debt does not retire until 2032. 1999, there was $346,700. That was in March of 1999. So that debt does not retire until 2039. 2001, $181,500. That debt does not retire until 2039. 2004, $210,500. That debt does not retire until 2042. 2008, $500,000. That debt does not retire until 2050. 2013, $172,000. That debt does not retire until 2054. In 2020, there was $783,000 burden placed out there. That does not retire until 2020. This is excluding the lawsuit that we continue to pay for 300 some odd thousand, that remains at over $370,000. We're still paying that one off. There's also a small debt out there, $70,000, that was taken out a few years ago, and it does not retire until 2032 as well. Don, what were you gonna ask?
That last one, that last one.
2060, I think.
It's 2060.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay, so it came in 2020, and it doesn't retire out until 2060.
it's a 40-year bond, that's correct.
Wow, okay.
So that's what we're facing. I mean, we're still paying for 1994 debt here. And when you stretch out $220,000 over 38 years, I mean, there's a ton, you know. But at the time, it's what they could afford. I mean, we've extended water lines to places beyond. It made no sense. Some of the places that water lines were extended, your return on that is negligible. You're going in a hole. I mean, we have water lines that go all the way out to Highway 64, west toward Ducktown, almost to Potato Creek, I guess it would be. We also go all the way into North Carolina to Wolf Creek Corners.
What?
So, yes.
Yes.
So that's what we're paying for right here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Greg, can I say that we have $59,800 in interest alone this year in payments?
there we go.
So almost $60,000 of just interest that we owe this year.
Yeah, the interest is, we will never.
I can understand why the state would come calling at some point. I mean, that's unfortunate, but I mean, yeah.
Shannon, is that for the whole year, or is that for just so far this year?
That's for the whole year.
That's the whole year.
25, yeah.
Approximately $60K in interest. Okay. For
Just interest.
2025.
Is that a set rate? Does it fluctuate?
All these interest rates are set. The one from '94 is 5.25, 4.75 for '99, 4.5 for 2001, 4.375 in 2004. 2008 they got a 4%. 2013 they got 2.75 and 2.25 in 2020.
At least interest rates won't.
So fortunately these are fixed rates from everything else.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's here.
So
We will only pay $65,000 in principal this year. year, and the 59,800 will go to interest.
That's good.
And this is, yeah, and this is our water and sewer debt. We do have on the general fund, just to speak to it, since we're gonna be in the budget, we have $200,000 that was borrowed in 2008. It does not retire until 2046. That's on our city general fund side. That rate's 4 and 8.
So do you have a total on all that, Greg, as far as what was
Should
borrowed?
be in your
In the
budget.
I just wondered.
Yeah, but
It's on
well-
page 19.
19?
but I can get you numbers later.
No, that's fine.
I mean, we still have outstanding, right at 2.3 million. It's probably come down fractiously this year.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it will, we're on.
yeah. Any other questions? Any other discussion on this?
What'd you say, 19?
19.
Is that what you're asking, Donna?
Yeah, just the total of what Greg what Mayor Barker just read out.
Okay.
19,
It's just our debt, and the gist of that, that's water sewer, other than the 200K for the general fund.
Correct, that's correct. Absolutely.
Wow,
page 20, 19 and 20.
thank you.
20 has it broken down by year.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Any other discussion? All right. If being none, we'll move to roll call.
Mayor Barker?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Reese?
Yes.
Alderman Martin?
Yes?
Alderman Tanner?
Yes.
Alderman Thomas?
Yes.
First reading passes. And moving along, the next one is ordinance number 5-19-25-03. Do we have a motion to consider this one?
Make a motion to consider.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Jake, second by Tamerlan. And this is operational and management fee for water. So I'll go ahead and read this ordinance and we'll go into period discussion. This is ordinance number 5-19-25-03, an ordinance to establish an operations and maintenance, it's O&M fee on all water bills for the city of Copperhill. Whereas the city of Copperhill operates a municipal water utility to provide essential water services to its residents and businesses, and whereas the ongoing operations and maintenance of the city's water infrastructure, equipment, and services require stable and dedicated funding, and whereas the Board of Mayor and Aldermen finds it necessary to implement an O&M fee to support the long-term sustainability and reliability of the water system and to help meet financial requirements as outlined in Tennessee Code annotated 7-34-115. Now therefore be it ordained by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the City of Copperhill, Tennessee, Section 1, effective the first day of July 2025, there's hereby imposed a $5 monthly operations and maintenance and O&M fee on each active residential and commercial water account within the City of Copperhill. Section 2, the application and collection. The O&M fee shall be added to each monthly water bill issued by the city and shall be applicable to all metered accounts regardless of consumption. This fee is in addition to existing water and sewer usage charges. Section 4, if any part of this ordinance is declared invalid or unconstitutional by a court of competent jurisdiction, the remaining provisions shall remain in full force and effect. All right, what discussion do we have on this one? So I'll start with our past of the audit revealed, again, the shortfall. Sewer rates are applicable to those using sewer. Not everybody in our system uses sewer, mostly just City of Copperhill. I mean, I think pretty much entirely City of Copperhill residents and businesses. This will impact everybody that purchases water from the City of Copperhill. This is recommended by our auditors this year, basically as a catch-up. They cited us for $63,000 shortfall. However, they only cite us for the interest of that debt. There's about 90-something thousand we were actually short. The reason they only cite us for the interest is because they acknowledge that the state should not have approved our debt. So that's all they deem us on. So to make up for that shortfall, this $5 fee will put a dent in some of that. The estimated amount is $24,000 a year, roughly, increase to go toward that shortfall. That coupled with the other rate increases on sewer, if everything passes, will give us another step forward. This is not going to make us solvent. None of this is a cure. It's just working toward. I mean, right now, there are pipes that we've got to fix. I mean, there are pipes today that must be fixed with the sewer side. And, sometimes you've got to wait for the money to come in to get those done. So, any other discussion and questions? All right. Being none, I'll move to roll call.
Mayor Barker?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Reese?
Yes.
Alderman Martin?
Yes.
Alderman Tanner?
Yes.
Alderman Thomas?
Yes.
First reading passes. And we will move along to the budget ordinance considerations next. This is our first reading of the budget. Each of you have gotten a copy. Put the copy online for folks. Basically, our accountant has worked very diligently. I think we've finally come to a place with this one that I feel a little more comfortable. There's no tax increase in this for this fiscal year. Concerns I have with the budget, the state basically dictates that we follow a formula. The formula is based off of sales. There's a 23% roughly sales increase that they're expecting from us in the city of Copperhill. This budget has to be based on this. So all this is estimates. These are all estimates. So if we don't hit that 23% increase in sales tax receipts, then obviously as we go through that year, we're having to make adjustments. And I think prior administration did a good job, obviously, with the budget for 23-24. We took over in December, and I think we're still on track with everything. Nothing seems out of the ordinary. This one concerns me, especially Moody's forecast downgraded the percentage of predictability for a recession. So it's been downgraded from 60% to 50%. So it's 50-50 we're going to go into a recession. If we do, this will be impacted. But, our costs to the city don't go down. Our utility costs don't go down. They're fixed. The costs we have, debt is fixed cost. That's not going to go down. So we have to be very careful as we move forward, especially if we don't hit these numbers. In this budget, I have a increase on our sheriff's contract. I've doubled that, and at this point, I guess it's going from. It shows 15,000 is what they originally budgeted in 24 and 25. That budget number, that went up to over 20,000 because they got a contract and it was 1,600 and something a month. So that number really is being doubled. So I'm adding up to $40,000 to negotiate with Sheriff's Department for potential police coverage. Hopefully we can reach an agreement and get some dedicated time. If not, then we're going to sit down and try to figure that out with the sheriff. We've made contact and he's seeing what he can do from this side, and we'll go from there. That being said, okay, give me my preamble. Is there a motion to consider this?
I make a motion to consider.
Jake makes a motion. Second.
I second.
And Donna second. All right, I'll read. I'm gonna read
The whole budget.
the whole budget. No, I'm just gonna read the ordinance. And this one's a little different because our accountant writes these, so they're just a touch. It's gonna be on page 2 inside the budget. An ordinance of the City of Copperhill, Tennessee, amending the annual budget for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025, and ending June 30, 2026. Whereas Tennessee Code Annotated Title 9, Chapter 1, Section 116 requires that all funds in the state of Tennessee and its political subdivisions shall first be appropriated before being expended, and that only funds that are available shall be appropriated. And whereas the Municipal Budget Law of 1982 requires that the governing body of each municipality adopt and operate under an annual budget ordinance presenting a financial plan with at least the information required by the state statute, that no municipality may expend any monies regardless of the source except in accordance with a budget ordinance, and that the governing body shall not make any appropriation in excess of the estimated available funds. And whereas the governing body has published the annual operating budget and budgetary comparisons of the budget of the proposed budget with the prior year, actual and current year estimated in the newspaper of general circulation not less than 10 days prior to the meeting where the governing body will consider final passage of the budget. That's going to be the second reading. Now therefore be it ordained by the City of Copperhill, Tennessee, as follows. The governing body projects anticipated revenues from all sources and appropriates planned expenditures for each department, board, office, or other agency of the municipality, herein presented together with the actual annual receipts and expenditures of the last preceding fiscal year and the estimated annual expenditures for the current fiscal year, and from those revenues and unexpected and unencumbered funds as follows for fiscal year 2026, and including the projected ending balances for the budget year, the actual ending balances for the most recent ended fiscal year, and estimated ending balances for the current fiscal years. So the general fund, basically, I'm not going to go through the numbers here. They're all online. You have them in front of you. So the governing body herein certifies the condition that sinking funds, if applicable, are compliant pursuant to its bond covenants and recognizes the municipality. During the coming fiscal year 2026, the governing body has pending and planned capital projects with proposed funding. That's from a grant. Section 5, no appropriation listed above may be exceeded without an amendment of the budget ordinance as required by the Municipal Budget Law 1982. In addition, no appropriation may be made in excess of available funds except to provide for an actual emergency threatening the health, property, or lives of the inhabitants of the municipality, and declared by 2/3 vote of at least a quorum of the governing body in accord with Section 6. Money may be transferred from one appropriation to another in the same fund in an amount up to $10,000 by the mayor, subject to such limitations and procedures as set by the governing body pursuant to Tennessee Code Annotated 656-209. Any resulting transfers shall be reported to the governing body and its next regular meeting and entered into the minutes. Section 7, money may be transferred from one appropriation to another in the same fund only by appropriate ordinance by the governing body, subject to such limitations and procedures as it may be described as allowed by Section 6-56-209 of the Tennessee Code Annotated, and any resulting transfers shall be reported to the governing body at its regular meeting and entered into Section 8, there is hereby levied a property tax of, was yours cut off?
No.
Can I borrow yours?
Yeah, go ahead.
How's yours cut off?
Because I have the one that was not correct. Excuse me, I'm under Section 7. I was getting cut off in my sentence. Section 7, money may be transferred from one appropriation to another in the same fund only by appropriate ordinance by a governing body, subject in such limitations and procedures as it may be described as allowed in Section 65-56-209 of Tennessee Code Annotated. Any resulting transfers shall be reported to the governing body at its next regular meeting and entered into its minutes. There's hereby levied a property tax of .7687 per $100 of assessed value on all real and personal property. Section 9, the annual operating and capital budget ordinance and supporting documents shall be submitted to the Comptroller of Treasury or Comptroller's designee for approval pursuant to Title 9, Chapter 21 of Tennessee Code Annotated within 15 days of its adoption, If the comptroller, the treasury, or comptroller's designee determines that the budget does not comply with the statutes, the governing body shall adjust its estimates and make additional tax levies sufficient to comply with the statutes, or as directed by the comptroller of the treasury or comptroller's designee. Section 10, all unencumbered balances of appropriations remaining at the end of the fiscal year shall lapse and revert to the respective fund balances. All ordinances or parts of ordinances on conflict with any provision of this ordinance are hereby repealed. Excuse me, repealed. All right, that's that. Sorry for I had a copy that was done before there was edits. No, that's should be it. All right, questions on the budget? In the budget, again, big concern are the increase that we're relying on the
This.
sales tax. Yes, yeah.
That, yeah.
So that's
And this, is this not a concern too? The charges for services?
well, those those are.
But this one?
Yeah, I'm concerned, yeah, I mean, obviously I'm concerned with everything, but.
Of course,
but-
all of us are.
But, to rely on, estimates, but we're using that formula.
This is
And
mandated by the state formula.
that's correct.
Okay.
So. All right.
Wow.
Any questions?
Happy to see the increase for the police. Where did you get that worked out?
I hope so. All right. If no more comments, and again, this is the first reading. Look through this. If you have additional questions, come back to me, come back to Shannon. If we can't answer those, we'll get the account. Go from there. Okay?
Thank you.
Fun stuff to read and go through, and yeah. All right. Let's do roll call.
Mayor Barker?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Reese?
Yes.
Alderman Martin?
Yes.
Alderman Tanner?
Yes.
Alderman Thomas?
Yes.
First reading passes, and we will post when the next reading is. It'll be advertised in the paper. All right. Next on the agenda, under new business, this is an ordinance for transient vendor. This is the first reading. Do I have a motion to consider?
Motion to consider.
Second.
Motion by Donna, second by Tammy. This is ordinance number 5-19-25-04. An ordinance of the City of Copperhill, Tennessee, repealing resolution number 9-18-C, amending the Copperhill Municipal Code to replace section 9-1042, 3, and 4, and establishing a one-time application fee for transient vendor permits in addition to the statutory fee set forth in Tennessee Code annotated section 67-4-7108. Whereas the City of Copperhill previously adopted resolution number 9-18-C on the 18th day of September 2023 for the regulation of transient vendors operating within the city limits, and whereas the Board of Mayor and Aldermen finds that resolution number 9-18-C was not enacted pursuant to an enabling ordinance and is therefore not recognized as valid legislative enactment under the Copperhill Municipal Code. And whereas the board now desires to repeal that resolution and replace the applicable provisions of the Copperhill Municipal Code with this properly adopted ordinance. And whereas Tennessee Code annotated 67-40-710A authorizes municipalities to require a permit and to collect fee of $50 from transient vendors conducting business within their jurisdiction. Whereas the City of Copperhill finds it reasonable and necessary to assess a one-time non-refundable application fee of $25 per individual vendor or entity to help defray administrative costs associated with initial permit processing. And whereas the city seeks to encourage and accommodate bona fide charitable and nonprofit organizations by exempting them from fees upon proof of nonprofit status. Now therefore be it ordained by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the City of Copperhill, Tennessee as follows. Section 1, resolution number 9-18-C is hereby repealed in its entirety. Said resolution was not enacted under the authority of valid ordinance and is suspended by this ordinance. Section 2, Copperhill Municipal Code, Section 9-104, subsections 2, 3, and 4 are hereby deleted in their entirety and replaced with the following language. All transient vendors shall obtain a permit from the City of Copperhill prior to engaging in business within the city limits. A statutory permit fee of $50 shall be collected as authorized under Tennessee Code 67-4-710A. In addition to the statutory fee, the City of Copperhill shall assess a one-time, non-refundable application fee of $25 for each individual vendor or business entity applying for a transient vendor permit for the first time. This fee shall not be charged again for subsequent permit applications submitted by the same vendor or entity. 4, charitable and nonprofit organizations engaging in temporary sales for fundraising or benevolent purposes shall submit a permit application and provide verification of their nonprofit status. Upon satisfactory proof, the city shall waive all applicable fees and issue the permit at no cost. So that's the bulk of that one. So basically, there were, as I spoke earlier, there were some I guess resolutions that were done previously that should not have been done, and we should have passed ordinances when we're looking at fees. However, transient vendors should be charged $50. That's a 14-day vendor fee. It doesn't say that in this in this ordinance, and I'm questioning whether we should perhaps amend this resolution to include that.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay. So,
Myself,
all right.
I just want to ask a question about the application fee.
Sure.
With all the people that I've spoken to that have done, as I've been talking to different people that do different events around their cities, this application fee, I think, was basically not only, it's a one-time, not just a one-time fee, I guess is what I'm saying. Basically, this thing was to hold your spot. Say, if we're doing events, if we do something in July, we do something in October, if the same person comes back in July, it's basically as a spot holder kind of thing, or that's their word saying that they're going to be there. This vendor, say, Timberland's selling something, just in for instance, she comes up and she's going to do vend at one of our events. Then they do the application fee to hold their spot. It's like a spot holder. That is their guarantee that they are going to be there, because that vendor fee, if it's only a 14-day fee, then they have to be here within that week or the week before to do their vendor fee, because it expires after 14 days. But the $25 fee is the people say going in and saying, okay, this is mine, I'm going to be here fee. I'm not going to run out on you. I'm going to be here at your event, and that kind of thing. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do. I think I follow.
I know.
So if there is, for instance, the 4th of July,
Right.
And there is an event, so I feel like this is a separate issue from that specific event, because this is food truck wants to come in, set up down at, I don't know,
On Friday, Saturday down here for it.
on somebody's property.
Right.
That person, when they come in, maybe just like the folks that maybe they're testing Copperhill to see how they do.
Mm-hmm.
This person, or maybe this is what they do, they're a food truck vendor, and so they're going to do an application fee,
Mm-hmm.
then they get their vendor permit, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If there's a special event, then we should probably pass an ordinance stating we're going to be doing this event.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I want clarification on that from the state, but we'd probably set a fee for that specific event.
Okay.
Again, like I've mentioned in the past, I want to have a comprehensive plan for events.
Right.
That's an overall fix for everything,
Mm-hmm.
for festivals, events, if we have more things going on in town. But this fee is completely different from an event fee.
Okay.
So an event fee you would establish, and typically a a city is not always doing an event
Right.
itself. Like for instance, you know, a 501c3 would do an event. That group would charge $25 to hold the spot. Then the person going to that festival or whatever held by a 501c3, they would have to come see Copperhill and get the correct permitting to be involved in that event, plus whatever fee the event is charging. So hopefully we will get, you know, the city is not always going to be sponsoring events, but the 4th of July, you know, I feel like it's too close to have, you know, we you know, we're learning this year from a lot of this stuff. But yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, and I agree with that. When we establish an event, we probably should, you know, say, okay, we're going to pass $25, $50 to hold your spot at this event.
Right.
So that's that. Am I?
Yeah, because that's their word saying they're gonna be there, so that
Correct.
when you get there for that day, they don't show up. And then, I mean, if they wanna run out on their $25, then that's fine,
Mhm.
but that is their guarantee that they're gonna be there, basically.
Understand.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
absolutely. Yeah.
So that we can plan on them, we're planning their space, you know,
Correct.
that kind of thing. So that is all I wanted to say about that, really, so.
Right.
But
And
this is a learning thing for us, for sure, so.
Carolyn?
Say.
I'm just a little confused about this thing.
So,
So the $25 that they're gonna pay when they come in, is this just like, you have a food truck that comes in and it's just here for a weekend or whatever, and then it leaves?
So my understanding is that the $25 will be basically processing costs for us to have to deal
Yes.
with the paperwork. They never have to pay that fee again. Once your business is in
Never,
the
ever
system, you're
again.
done.
Okay.
We have you on record now, you filled out the appropriate forms. All you would pay for past that would be the $50 to renew your permit for
Okay,
every 14
okay.
days. So the $25 is basically just our vetting.
Okay, so
Okay.
that's what you're thinking.
So the first fee's gonna be $75.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
So,
Yeah.
okay, that's why,
This
so the
one-
Yes,
first time is gonna be
exactly.
$75.
Yeah, it's basically just, it's
After
a
14
paperwork
days.
fee.
After the,
Okay,
Yeah.
well, now,
I'm glad
okay,
you
that
asked
also
that,
makes
just to
sense.
clarify.
okay, okay.
And like I said, my thought with this is that we don't want this to be restrictive for people, but there's obviously man hours that are gonna be put into sorting through the applications, verifying that that's all legitimate information. And so that's where the city should be recommended to get some recompense, in my opinion. But once that work's done, all they've gotta do then
Okay,
is review
Okay,
their permit.
okay.
That's fine then.
I,
I mean, that I get.
okay,
Okay.
all right,
I understand that.
Okay.
right.
Okay.
For future events, if the city's holding something like 4th of July, if we had understood, you know, we're learning. We
Yes.
could, when we initially said we're gonna do 4th of July events, we could have put it in place at that point.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I feel like we're too
Yeah, too
It's
close.
too close
Absolutely.
to it to do that. But yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying, absolutely.
Okay.
Like, she's doing a holiday event, yeah, so we, you know,
Yeah.
we just.
So it will be
decide-
maybe different, I mean, we'll have it in place before then, or
I'm-
during the holiday?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to get, I've looked at some of the other cities and what they're doing, with what they do with festivals, and there's, you know, the one thing I was really hoping to get our ordinances back from the state before I do much more. These things had to be done tonight, but I'm trying to hold off on writing as much as I can, you know, putting that on the books till we get everything back and then move forward. But again,
So since they're a nonprofit that I'll be working with, is that gonna change things a little, will that change things a little bit?
I don't understand your question, but you're working.
So
Just a thought,
my
just a-
understanding of reading this is, should a nonprofit submit their application, they're welcome to do so, provide their nonprofit status, and then we don't charge a fee.
Right.
But they have to obtain the permit just like anybody else would, just to
Right.
keep everything even.
Right, I understand that.
Okay.
So where I'm going to be partnering with, what's it called, downtown?
Discover
whatever?
Park or Basin?
Yeah, Discover Park. Copper
Okay.
Basin, they're a nonprofit, right?
Okay, right.
So then we will not be charging them a fee,
You're-
but those
you're-
who are participating in that.
They're doing you're talking about what we've,
Top.
so Discover Copper Basin is doing Christmas, Copper Basin Country Christmas. That's a small piece. That's a
Okay.
separate piece of what you're doing.
Okay, okay.
You're with the city of Copperhill and not Discover Copper Basin.
Okay.
They're doing, if they want to do something in conjunction with us, if they want to be
That's
involved,
fine.
then that's fine.
Yes.
But we are not doing, we are not in conjunction with Discover Copper Basin
Okay,
as far as
that's
what
fine.
we're doing with the city of
Okay.
Copperhill. That's,
Okay.
they could be, just like with Cleanup Week, they did a day with United Way, and it was part of our overall Cleanup Week.
Okay.
So we're on the same page
Okay,
now.
all right.
Okay. All right. Seems like there's 1,000 food trucks that want to come to town and
There is, and
all
I would
these
like to see
things.
them.
And,
We need food trucks. We need
immediately,
stuff.
and we're learning these things.
Yep.
I've never dealt with food trucks before. All right. I don't know
Boy,
that I've
don't we
ever,
need to
I don't
sign.
know that I've ever eaten off a food truck.
They're
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
Hey, I have, I bought them.
Actually, I did eat sweet ends. I'm sorry.
Did
I
you
just
eat
like,
that
of
off the
course, and it was
cheesecake truck?
amazing.
I'm
Yes,
so
it
proud
was
of you,
good.
Greg.
All right. So any other discussion
You
here?
eat
We
cheese
done?
too?
Any other discussion here? All right. If none, roll call.
Mayor Barker?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Reese?
Yes.
Alderman Martin?
Yes.
Alderman Tanner?
Yes.
Alderman Thomas?
Yes.
First reading passes. Thank you. Good discussion, good clarification of everything. All right. Lastly, we have a resolution. Do I have, this is appointment of judge.
I make a motion, we consider
Yes, I second.
Motion by Jake, second by Tamerlan. I will read this resolution. This is piggybacking off our slum clearance. We updated last month, and this is resolution number 5-19-25-01. Resolution of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the City of Copperhill, Tennessee, appointing a city judge. Whereas Article 3, Section 305A of the Charter of the City of Copperhill, Tennessee provides that upon a vacancy in the office of city judge, the Board of Mayor and Aldermen shall appoint a city judge, and whereas a vacancy presently exists in the office of city judge, thereby necessitating an appointment to ensure the continued and effective administration of justice within the city, and whereas the Board of Mayor and Aldermen finds that it is in the best interest of the citizens of Copperhill to fill this vacancy without delay. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the City of Copperhill, Tennessee, that Laura M. Crawford is hereby appointed to serve as city judge for the City of Copperhill, with her term of office to commence on June 1, 2025. Be it further resolved that the resolution shall become effective immediately upon the adoption and the public welfare requirement. All right. So any discussion on Ms. Crawford? She has agreed, currently was our city attorney. She's agreed to become judge. I think I've stated that previously. This, again, is our next step with adopting the slum clearance. Also, in addition to that, other ordinances, we can hold people accountable if we can bring them before a judge, and it's just a step forward for us. So,
Absolutely.
very happy she has agreed to do this, and I've known Laura for a number of years, and I know she will serve with absolute dignity and will give everybody a fair trial if needed.
Hope we don't have to use it very much.
I hope not. The purpose is not to fine. The
Right.
purpose is to clean up the city. The purpose is to follow the ordinances. And that's all we're asking. All right. Any other discussion? If none, roll call.
Mayor Barker?
Yes.
Mayor Reese? Vice Mayor Reese?
Yes.
Alderman Martin?
Yes.
Alderman Tanner?
Yes.
Alderman Thomas?
Yes.
And resolution passes. Laura Coffin will serve as our city judge again. All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.
Motion by Jay, I'll give the second to Jeff.
That's Jeff's second, always.
Roll call.
Mayor Barker.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Russo.
Yes.
Alderman Martin.
Yes.
Alderman Tanner.
Yes.
Alderman Thompson.
Yes. Very productive.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good job.
Very good, thank y'all.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Make notes on back.
I can get,
Just,
I don't think all those paperwork, okay.
How
I'll take
you
that.
doing?
So I'll give you a call when we find out.
That's great.
We'll get you in a meeting pretty fast, though, sounds like. We'll get you taken care of. Well, I got everything I need from you. You've done a good job on that, so.
on the other side, we're gonna start a walk tomorrow.
Okay, Randall, and you?
You good for things?
Just, I didn't know, and I didn't know if you put count.
Somebody shows up, then
I'll go share.
So, you know, I'm anal about things. And
somebody's